Hello, everybody.
Hi guys.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on the place where you are connecting from. Uh, Welcome to our SafeDev Talk today about artificial intelligence and the balance and navigation between the emerging threats and the new defenses in the application security. Thanks for joining us. Today, we are going to dive into one of the fastest of most unpredictable shifts in the cybersecurity. How artificial intelligence is redefining both sides, the way we attack and the way we defend against the potential risk in the application security. In the last years, we have seen that artificial intelligence movement from buzzword to battleground. For example, some data that we consider very interesting and relevant. More than or about 60% of the exploit kits now use automation or artificial intelligence. According to the recent studies from IBM, for example, and other consultants, more than 50% of the security professionals has already found some artificial intelligence assisted intrusions in their environments. And also we can say that artificial intelligence generated code vulnerabilities has multiplied by 3 year over year in the last year. So it's something concern trend. Okay, so to be safe in the 2025, that is the year that artificial intelligence stop being a tool and become a part of the threat model and the day-to-day work, is the reason that we do this session today. We see how these attackers are using the generative models to generate new polymorphic malware, create fake identities, generate exploits to do or to change the way they attack the different systems. But the story doesn't finish there. The same technology is also empowering the defenders to detect, predict, and remediate in different ways these type of attacks. Organizations are now using artificial intelligence assisted triage that are already improving the time to remediation. They are adapting some models to produce up to 25% fewer false positive, for example. So we are in this duality that we are exploring today regarding artificial intelligence as a weapon and as a shield. For this discussion, we have today Atanas Nikolov. Thank you, Atanas, and thank you for being here. So Atanas is a DevSecOps expert, has more than 10 years of experience in development, product engineering. He has been lead different teams in the most relevant United States companies. He had led several threat modeling group focused on identifying emerging risk and building resilient defenses. His background spans across malware research, critical infrastructure, national security, and I think that he's going to provide us a very interesting point of view and experience to the discussion. It will be a pleasure to discuss and to know your view and your thoughts, Atanas.
Yeah, it's a pleasure for me as well. Since I see you guys, you're really like pushing to the edge of innovation at Xygeni. So let's hope we'll spark some good discussions. And yeah.
So let's start. First of all, new changes, for example, just to start thinking, let's start with the offensive point of view. As we have mentioned, the artificial intelligence has reduced or has lowered the barrier for sophisticated attacks. Now these generative models can write, mute, obfuscate. They can prepare the code for the attacks faster than any other person. Okay, so the speed everything is changing is very quick. At the end, this model scans for weak points, try to create convincing phishing messages, for example, just to attack through the people. They can put different vulnerabilities together in ways that traditional scanners cannot detect or anticipate. So this shift toward is making visible for everybody. And we have also new attacks like a prop injection, model tampering. So they are also attacking the new artificial intelligence model. And as, for example, based on your experience with this threat modeling teams that track these evolutions and these trends in the way they attack the system, what do you think that is the most concerning attack pattern or that you are seeing, or what is the more relevant thing that the teams has to deal with, for example?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the question. Basically, there is not only one. There is not only one because AI it's very trendy nowadays, and but it's double-edged sword because it gives both opportunity for offensive teams or even a state-sponsored group. As you know, most of the larger countries, they have very strong cyber intelligence teams. Countries like China, Russia, Israel, USA, and many more, I guess. So in that sense, both from offensive viewpoint, AI can be used to make a lot of damage, right? It can make a lot of damage, since there could be like polymorphic malware deployed, or there just could be used for research that will shorten the time to find a good attack path and to narrow the possibilities of successful attacks. But on the other hand, AI can be, especially LLMs, because AI, it's very general to say AI. Maybe let's say LLMs. Yeah, they can be utilized in a way that, the offensive teams can achieve greater impact, both like ethical hackers and both the ones that have malicious purposes from the first day. they wanted to do something to somebody or some organization. But on the other hand, the good thing is that this is largely becoming to be integrated in all of the spectrum for the defensive side, which is good, because like companies like IBM, who produce like software like QRadar, they also try to make such things better, like the Weber, the user analytics model for QRadar, and things like this. So I think it's complex to say who has the edge currently, because it really depends on the situation. It depends on what is the attack vector and who is the target and who has the resources. Because if a state-sponsored attack is like deployed to a mid-level large organization, of course, maybe they'll have way more chance to achieve it, right? Because they have more resources.
Yeah, completely agree. I think this last point is the key that you have mentioned. We have to deal with more complex type of attacks like this polymorphic that depend on every execution, change the behavior or do a different thing or change something. So we cannot trust in the traditional ways of detecting this type of attacks, but we are integrating also the artificial intelligence in these pipelines and in these detection mechanisms. I think the idea is to become or to be more or to focus more on the prevention, and for this we have to put more intelligence in the detection. For this, I think that this artificial intelligence is doing a very important contribution to detecting patterns or to create mechanisms that detect the vulnerability before they happen. For example, as we introduce the artificial intelligence model in the pipeline, these mechanisms are learning and listening and are crossing different data. So at the end, probably they can infer that something is not, we can detect anomalies, let's say. At the end, the anomalies is the most important thing, okay? We have a very different ways of detecting anomalies before having the confidence that something is malicious. But if we have something suspicious, I think that this is the critical point. In this sense, for example, the anomalies regarding behavior or anomalies in the code. For example, we don't have the CVE, but there is some code intention or some code behavior that sounds suspicious because it's doing strange things. For example, the attack of the npm packages a few weeks ago, they were sending information to an external site. So, okay, it usually could be something that could be sure, but it's not usual, or several commands inside the installation script that, okay, could be there, but it's not usual to have this type of elements there. So putting attention in this anomalous activity or this suspicious activity, I think is the key. And this should feed the early warning systems to notify the customer before the attack happens, or at least to start the alerts of the customer to be more with more attention to this specific type of scenarios. This is really important. For example, in the packages, this sample of the npm packages, if we can detect that something is malicious or could be malicious before anyone has reported or has confirmed this path, and we can block everything before entering in our application, I think this is something that is very, very important. These mechanisms should be integrated also with dependency firewall and this kind of mechanisms to try to block anything based on these clues that we can detect with this new system. So at the end, I think that this is the key, not waiting to have something, use these learnings and these capacities of the artificial intelligence to say, I'm not sure, or is start working with probabilities probably. I'm not sure that this is something malicious, but take care of this because it's not normal, it's not usual. So it depends how much conservative or do you want to see, or do you want to be bad? Yeah.
Yes, it depends on the risk acceptance of the manager, maybe.
Exactly.
And the approach. But something interesting you mentioned about the npm packages. Actually, as far as I know, there are people who target the maintainers of some of these libraries. So they just try to hijack their GitHub accounts and try to deploy whatever they want. So yeah, npm package is just let's say traditional way to deploy something unusual, because everybody is downloading, everybody relies on open source. Most of the software companies, they want to ship product fast, and they not always can carry the responsibility for the risk that will come with this open source library, right? But of course, I'm not saying that I'm against that. I'm saying that maybe if a company really thinks they're mature and they produce like a product that's called, let's say, so-called secure product, right? They should maybe implement some practices like SCA. They should use SASP on their code bases and stuff like this to make sure that risk is mitigated, because risk always will be
it's
there.
Going to be there.
We cannot reduce it to zero.
Exactly. But it's because something that you mentioned, you can trust in a component that is safe until now, but suddenly the new version suddenly becomes malicious because someone target the maintenance or do any other thing. So yeah, I think this is something very, very important. In this sense of making everything more focused or oriented to the prediction and to try to put or to notice the risks to the customer, for example, without having the 100% confidence. Okay, it's not sure that it's not completely secure, it's not completely malicious, let's say, but we have this part. I think the contribution of these artificial intelligence models into triage and remediation is critical. For example, the teams using artificial intelligence assisted triage reduce the time to remediate between 30 and 40%. And also they are contributing to have the 25% lower false positive. At the end, this information is also providing additional context information or is considering more data to increase the precision of the, let's say, the potential impact of the things. I don't know, how do you see this predictive analytics in the teams that you work to define or to model the threat, and how they use this information or these new approaches in real environments or something?
Yeah, basically triaging things is a good approach, especially if we have the right tools and the right mindset. Most of the DAS tools, for example, they're producing too much noise, and this creates an issue because developer teams, they're quite expensive most of the times. At least they were before AI came. No, just kidding. Expertise would maybe, I don't want to say never, but I would say like for now I think things are in control. But still, yeah, developer teams, they're quite expensive, so they cannot just take the time to check the noise, the alerts that are just useless, let's say, because they're useful alerts and useless alerts, as you know. And yeah, that's always necessary to be done. But if the software comes with inbuilt functionality to help the end users, which in terms of speaking are the developers, because for this type of application security tools like SAST, like DAST, or like SCA, which is software composition analysis. It's good when developers can use them easily, right? Because we don't want to put too much pressure on them. They already have it. They already have all of the pressure on the world. So yeah, in that sense of speaking, it's true.
You have mentioned that it's relevant when the developers or security engineers and the people can manage all this information. I think it's very important also the way they consume the result of this analysis, or because at the end we have to support them. I think that the developers and the people has the final decision. They are decision makers, and the idea is to provide them as much information as possible. But the information, as a person, we cannot manage more than a few parameters, let's say. And these models support much more flexibility and agility because they can support much more amount of information, much more amount of parameters. They detect very well the trends and the different changes in the behaviors. And at the end, they should provide this information for the final decision, but everything filtered. The keys in this is to, instead of doing the analysis or the scans, for example, saying this is secure or this is unsecure, it's a vulnerability with a severity risk level, they can analyze how is the context in this moment, having much more information, and they can provide, okay, this is not malicious today, but the following day could say, this is an emergent risk. You are having this trend, or this is becoming something to monitor, for example, and these kind of things. In this, at the end, we have to put the code of the application, the evolution of the dependencies, the context of the pipeline that is building the artifact of these kind of things, just to ensure that everything end-to-end is working and doesn't have hidden exposure paths or potential new vector attacks and these kind of things. Even we see, for example, usage of the behavior of the people. For example, someone trying to attack our pipelines or our CI/CD, because they have stole the credentials of a customer and can do some modifications in the code, in the pipelines. So we have to analyze even the behavior of the people in the infrastructure and the activities of the different developers, suspicious samples.
Exactly.
Doing things from a different country than usual activity of the developer. Working in a unusual project that is not
malicious actors are actually, I would say, an issue that becoming, larger and important, because sometimes the teams, especially that we are doing threat modelings for, like different product teams, sometimes it's hard to convey to them that some of their peers can turn into a malicious actor for any reason. And interesting fact, by the way, based on statistics, is that most of the recent breaches, let's say in the last 5 years, they were done by an insider. Somebody helped the process. It was not just done by external threats, external teams. Somebody has helped these externals to gain access in one way or another by giving credentials, by letting them enter the physical, the physical building, so they can go to the place with the servers and inject an USB, for example. This is happening 2025. If somebody doesn't believe me, ping me on LinkedIn. I can give you the info. This is happening. People injecting USB here and there. And there was even discussion and speaking that all of these USB sticks that you can buy from some Chinese websites, you don't know what they have on them. You don't know until you plug them. You're not sure. So, malicious actors are big and emerging issue. Because we cannot fully control that. We don't know when a person will change his opinion because he's not happy with the conditions, with the working conditions, or
we can change. Exactly. So I agree. We have some in our product. We have some requirements because of precisely this. You cannot trust in anyone. So because anyone can change of opinion or do something in any moment. So you have to monitor everything continually.
But if the tool provides this ability for tracking and monitoring, then we have a third party something. Let's say it's not a person, but it's a tool that can guarantee this team will continue to work together and stick together. And if there is anomaly, it will be detected, and somebody from the environment will act upon it, right? So
exactly. And you can notice this user or this person is starting doing strange things. So you can notice to make something.
Somebody can check
in real time. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's very important. It's very important, and I think that such tools, they will have a larger presence in today's let's say in general cybersecurity market, because this not only concerned with AppSec, it's concerned with most of the aspects of cybersecurity.
No, I think at the end the key is having into account these new threats or this new context, that is the persons, the behavior, and these kind of things, and then apply these artificial intelligence or LLM models or these capabilities to exploit their adaptive intelligence. At the end, a person is always managing more or less the same model, and now the issue is that from pull request to pull request, everything can change. So we need adaptive intelligence to detect when there is some change also in the behavior, in the way doing things, and these things. The other approach or the other benefit is that using more information, more context information, having more details regarding the potential impact, I think that we are also contributing to developers' focuses on the most important things at the end, and we are reducing false positive, and we are allowing to be more efficient and more precise in the detection and the things that the developer has to work. So I think
but also I just want to state the fact that I think traditional security measures should be always taken, and then anything that comes with this good buzzword called AI should be like as an extra, taken as an extra, because we always need the core, and everything else is just, let's say, a good bonus, a good, tool for leveraging.
Completely agree. One thing is to have some AI to support the team, but at the end we need the core, and we need someone that is validating, approving, rejecting. And yes, is a tool for the team. Is one more part in the team. I think we are not still at the point of having something 100% automated and trusting in the decisions there.
Yeah, for sure.
The other part is from the attackers. It's clear the benefits and the way they are doing now the things. Some defenses in our side to try to advance or to prevent these new attacks in some way. And the other part is how we can use also the artificial intelligence, the LLMs, and these new techniques for auto remediation. To at the end, this intelligence that we allow us to detect anything with more details and more things is very good doing correlation, prioritization, and we see that is also interesting for doing remediation in things that we could not do automatically before, a few months before, not very close in the time. At the end, this automation is reducing between 30 and 40% also the time to remediate. And according Gartner, for example, 81% of the CISOs says that autonomous remediation is going to be a standard capability next year. So it's like the speed of the light. We have started with this, and in 1 year it's going to be like mandatory or fundamental to improve this response. I don't know if you agree, or in your teams, the teams you are collaborating with are also integrating these remediation capabilities, if this is actually at this speed, the level of trust or confidence, where they are applying in the pipelines, in the IDE. What's your experience?
Basically what I see is that practices for integrating AI into threat modeling, for example, of course, it's double-edged sword, because we can do this and help the teams find more threats, give them the report, and make sure that they'll follow the process for mitigation. But also, if part of this information comes to the wrong hand, they can also utilize it to find more threats and to try to use them. But basically, the two criteria and the two factors that are important when we speak about a tool that helps with autonomous remediation is like MTTR and MTTD. So when both of them are reduced, then the effect maybe is completed. Of course, the mean time to detect and the mean time to respond. Of course, the higher they are, it means the slower the process are going. So we don't want things to be slower, right? We want things to be faster. But regarding this statement, I think maybe it's possible that till next year or till the next few years, autonomous remediation would be happening
a reality,
like interchangeably, because it's competitive sector, right? AppSec, one company gives something new, and the other ones, they try to also compete with that and provide something better. So in such a competitive market, I'm pretty sure in a few years, these chief information security officers would be happy that part of their responsibilities will be as well diminished.
What we see is I think that is aligned with your pitch, is that it's necessary to control, to see or to validate, should be in the right hands. At the end, I think obviously they have some benefits. For example, the contextual remediation. At the end, doing the artificial intelligence remediation or LLMs allow us to aggregate things to solve at once. So the developers, for example, could have just one change to solve several things related one to the other. Okay, so instead of doing the review of 10 things, they are going to review just one thing with confidence that everything is going to be more or less fixed. So we are reducing the amount of time and effort to review these things. One thing that is very important to increase the trust on these mechanisms, because at the end, I think they are not deterministic. So, or they are not yet at the level of a deterministic system, is the system has to explain very well what it's doing. So the developer doesn't have to review everything line by line and has some comprehension about the changes that and the suggestion they are doing. Okay, and the other part is that we cannot completely trust in that everything is going to be correct. So auto remediation doesn't mean auto deployment. So we need, or we think that we still need some person or some decision makers that has more experience, more control, that validate everything from these models. So, okay, we are accelerating, we are reducing the time, but at the end, it's not completely automated from end to end. So, it's as we said before, is one part of the team just to improve the efficiency and these kind of things. But we still need to control everything.
Yeah, that's why when I joked about the developers and how expensive they are, that's what I meant, that the human factor will continue to be crucial and the decision maker. AI can help with some automation, can help with faster analytics, can help with basically making anything faster. But again, if we leave that without any human intervention, we may come to a trap. We may come to a trap where things can fall apart very, very easily, especially when such tools are deployed for critical infrastructure or for some important things that cannot just stop working. Like electricity, we cannot just say, we wouldn't have electricity tomorrow. Who cares?
Let us know. We had some episode on this line a few months ago here in Spain. So
yeah. Oh yes, exactly.
So believe me that this is really, really critical. Yeah. I think that other important thing also of having these people doing the validation and these kind of things is the capability to allow the algorithms of the model learn. learn about what the developers approve and what the developers reject, so they can learn, refine, and be more precise and improve the capability of doing things. I think this is also a critical point now today. Yeah. Well, at the end, I think that we are going to have these autonomous systems, but we are still teaching them how to do things, and we are supervising, or we should be supervising what they are suggesting, what they are providing. We are saving some time now, but yeah, I think probably not next year, as Gartner predicts, that as you mentioned, in a few years, it's going to be a reality, it's going to be there, and they are going to save a lot of effort, time, and yeah, important, this part.
Yeah, I think application security is essential for any type of businesses. It's not only e-commerce websites or something like this, because maybe even some part of the critical infrastructure they rely on some applications, right? For some people to control some processes or some automatic things that are interconnected. And if somebody finds a backdoor into the
code, yeah,
into the like entry stages of this life cycle, maybe they will be able to exploit further. Who knows? So yeah, in that case, AI should be supervised by humans, since it's still not so advanced to take decision on its own. It's hallucinating a lot, especially when I'm doing experiments with the different LLMs and ChatGPT. Sometimes it's hallucinating way more than we expect. But at the end, at the end, with the AI agents now, things are getting different scale.
Yeah. Athanasis is related with this, because we are mentioning LLMs that do this remediation based on code mainly, okay, just to solve vulnerabilities. But we mentioned before models to detect anomalies. What we have seen is that for detecting anomalies, you cannot use a standard or a general model. At the end, every team is different, works in a different way. So our experience is you need a model, and you need to train the model with the specific information of your repository and the activity of your team, because you need to deploy the pattern of your specific team, your specific organization, your specific repositories. So the anomaly detection is really valid, let's say, because in other case, okay, you are going to have a lot of different false positive, and it's not going to be refined for your specific context. And for this, we need, or our experience is, you cannot put the system hoping to have results in the next day or the next week, because at the end you need a lot of information regarding activity to prepare the model before starting having precise results and these kind of things. I don't know if you agree, or you do this type of...
I would only say I would agree with that, because for the people who use GitHub Copilot and they think that the code produced will be secure, I have bad news. And the bad news is that the Copilot is trained on the public repositories. So greetings to all of the people who think they can have secure code just by something that's trained on code bases that maybe some of them doesn't have anything related to security. Maybe they have infinite four cycles, each of them. Who knows?
It could be even worse, because if you ask to Copilot, tell me the vulnerabilities, trust on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, of course, in order for such a model, first you need to try with the different models on the market, because nowadays we have like so many stakeholders producing different models. Like now we have the Grok, we have the Llama, we have like Claude and Anthropic, and like we have many different companies and the models that they make. So I think it's just one good big experiment. And of course, the data that it's trained this model is very important, because even in the OWASP top 10 for LLMs, there is the point for data poisoning, right? So this is also, by the way, very natural point of attack, because if malicious actors they want to make a breach somewhere, maybe they don't have to go through all the way. They just have to find a way to poison the data that the models will be trained. For example, for some large automotive client, let's say they make internal LLM, and somebody found a way to deploy wrong dataset that will serve the malicious purposes and even like compromise the whole infrastructure. Why not?
Yeah. And this is a critical infrastructure again, because at the end, a car with autopilot and this kind of things is something.
Of course. And something interesting, by the way, since I went to a conference in Lisbon last month. In Portugal, it was called Hack AI Conf. So it was very interesting because different researchers were there showcasing how AI is not really secure, how much work we need to do in order to make one such system, let's say, because it's not only the model. Maybe there will be the model, there will be some pipelines, some middle layers, maybe some UI. But what I saw there was very interesting. There were some guys that managed to make a bounty on Google Gemini, and they made like 100K with that, just by finding that Gemini can call any random number by typing in call, like the word call, and then the number. And I tried that with my own number. They still didn't remediate it. So I was able, by just saying on Gemini call my number, to receive a call. It was, of course, not working because it's my number. But when I tried with others, So if Gemini is like able to be spoofed, let's say, or tampered, who is not? I'm asking who is not.
It's just a matter of creativity of the attackers. They are going to imagine anything. Yeah.
Everybody is vulnerable, and that's why measures should be taken, and that's why different tools should be integrated into the whole SDLC lifecycle, like SAST or SCA or other type of tools, and for
the pipeline. I think the pipeline and protecting the pipelines are going to be also critical to avoid these attacks to the software supply chain also.
As you mentioned, to track anomalies, to monitor effectively, and make sure that nobody is sabotaging your work, because like if 500 developers are building something and just one of them decides to sabotage, if no measures are taken, it wouldn't be interesting like for them to see that.
Atanas, one thing, because just to move forward, we are talking about the high speed in the in the way of using the artificial intelligence in the attacker side, in the defense side. But at the end, we have always the regulation there. But the regulation usually doesn't have the same speed that the real world. So how do you see this? Because at the end, the idea is for these organizations try to force the regulators, try to force the organizations to adopt artificial intelligence with transparency, with responsibility, with these kind of things, and try to put some context or some rules. But in the practice, they are always behind all these movements. How do you think, or how do you see that the programs from national security programs and these kind of things are managing these things, and how we can balance the innovation and usage of these new tools, techniques, and all these capabilities, ensuring the discipline, control, and compliance with regulations.
Yeah. I would mention something interesting here, in that still a lot of the countries in European Union, they cannot make transposition of NIS2 directive. So if they were not able to do that still, then these acts for AI regulation and stuff, I think they will take a lot of time. But it's good, on the other hand, that there was some initiatives to make such a legal document, or let's say framework, like the AI Act of European Union, that will make sure that AI systems will continue to be safe, transparent, non-discriminatory, respectful, and serving its purpose. But this also, it depends where and how the AI is deployed, because if you deploy like a model, let's say locally, maybe it will be, if you ask the model with your own training, after your own training, if you ask the model to give you a lot of offensive words, maybe it will do it. But the public ones, they're restricted, right? They have strong configurations, they have strong profiles, and when you ask something that's not really moral or ethical, like, they will try to convince you that you should not ask this and go for something else.
Yeah. We have some samples at the beginning of these models with these specific samples with these scenarios and these situations. You are right. I think that you have mentioned the NIST, Artificial Intelligence Risk Management, the European AI Act are trying to put some frameworks to manage the maturity and the best practices and recommended practices. Because at the end, one thing that we have to control is only the transparency to the people. Yes, to ensure that the people trust in our company, in our solution, in our thing, just to show, okay, we do the things in this way. Everything is completely transparent. You can trust anything. Because at the end, if we convert, we make these things a black box, we are not going to have the trust and the confidence from the other part. And we are not going to be able to control what the organizations or the products or the systems are doing with the data and this kind of thing. So in the main part of it's important to ensure that the artificial intelligence generate trust in the people. I hope these frameworks allows to demonstrate or to support the companies to show all these things to the public and to the persons.
Yeah, it was high time. I think it was high time for such an act to be made, because at least the public trendy part was when the ChatGPT was like announced and everybody used it with this old data set from a few years ago, like it was 2021, I forget, maybe the winter of 2021 or 2022, something like this. Anyway, it was before a few years, and from there on till now, I think it improved a lot. It improved a lot, especially, for example, speaking about Gemini for the last models, total big difference with what I have seen before a year or so. And basically this AI Act is very comprehensive, and it explains like what should be the legal framework for for AI systems implemented in education or in employment and recruitment, in law enforcement or administration, some type of administration, critical infrastructure, or like every crucial part of the governance of a country. Because at some point, like this, I think this would spread not only from private sector, but from private sector to the public sector, and they will start to adopt it as well.
And one question to see your thought on that.
Yeah.
For example, we in this framework we define what we can do, what we cannot do, how to show things, trying to put some guardrails or limits or whatever.
Yes.
For example, from the application security, we use the policy as code to define the things I want to allow or not to allow as in our platform, in our product. Okay, but at the end, do you think that the policy as code could be also a tool to limit or to protect how the LLM works, or the things they can do, they cannot do, or is done through a different approach? This control of the response and the activity of the models.
Yeah, I think this approach should be working, but as well, like the LLMs, they have profiles and configurations, and a lot of things could be set as the core prompt, things like this. So I think here we should incorporate multi-layered approach in order to achieve both like security in terms of what the LLMs is going to produce, and again security in terms of what LLMs are okay to process, because there is something called prompt injection, right? So it's not only what the LLM will create as an output and whether this will be good for the person checking it, but I think it's also important to make sure that LLMs wouldn't be easy to manipulate, because then they will become a tool, maybe the tool in the hands of the wrong person. Right?
Yeah.
Possible.
Very interesting. Thank you very much. Yes, we have 5 minutes, so probably a couple of points. We have mentioned now we have mentioned the regulation, defense, attacks, about evolution. What do you see that is going to be the next generation secure development? Because at the end, everything is moving very quickly. Teams that success applying acceleration through artificial intelligence and these kind of things improve the threat artificial intelligence management and detection, just integrating at the end. I think that the success formula is integrate artificial intelligence in the team, not replacing any profile, any other tool. Is just a new complement to provide more information, more detail, and to adapt to the changing nature of the attacks. So at the end, we have to put together the human creativity, the machine precision, these kind of things. What do you think that is going to be the future security teams, or how they are going to work, and how they are going to improve or to adapt to the new context?
I think that AI would be only able to enrich the security teams. They can become smarter, better. They can get info faster. They can be only more efficient. And I don't think AI has reached the point where can replace any crucial security position, let's say. Like it's still not fully able to replace a freelance copywriter, right? Because somebody has to make the text, has to deploy it, put a picture. Yeah, maybe it's still not fully able to. But for application security, I think the more this technology advance, every detail of it will become a bit different. Every detail of it will become like the approaches will start to change, because like before, let's say 20 years, companies like Checkmarks or like Black Duck, maybe they were not fully existent, right? Or 25 years, but there was still code, right? There was still people writing Java code, for example, deploying it somewhere, people writing PHP code, Python, but nobody was fully speaking about SAST, like let's say in the early 2000s, maybe.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
too
Yeah.
young back then, but now when I think about the time back then,
Yeah. Yeah. I completely agree. I completely agree and completely align with you at the end. This is going to be a tool more to support the developers, to support the security engineers, and to provide more information and more capability to decide better. So, as you
and
mentioned,
faster.
it's not going to replace. It's faster, smarter, more precise, all these things. So at the
Yes.
end, the idea is to have this assistant, let's say, there to do the work and the decision together. And I think the ways to do this is through the explaining things, to understand the decision or the rationale behind the response, or to explain, or to training and explaining how to do things better. Yeah, yeah. I think that is going to be like the expert assistant there to complement. But probably we need to ensure that we still need expert people still to
Yeah.
supervise the systems currently.
And
So we need some
and
time to trust on them completely. Mhm.
as a deduction words, I also want to say that the code that is going to be shipped like in the next years is going to be twice or maybe even 5 or 10 times more than the code that has been shipped till now. Since everybody is creating something, it's so easy nowadays. You don't have to be professional. You don't have to study like Python for 6 months to start coding. You just go to
No.
some no code tool and it makes an app. But this app is still built by something. It's not just pictures.
Yeah.
So a lot of code will be shipped, and I think that application security will become even more important into the next decade, even way more important, because everybody will have to secure the pipeline. Maybe some of these businesses still don't have, but they're about to have one. You know,
Mhm.
and what I see is that more and more companies they start to assess themselves through the OWASP SAM, like the maturity models, and they want to see where they are in terms of software, security and
Mhm.
assurance, and how mature they are. So yeah, for me, application security sector is only going to grow, and yeah, as long as there are companies who provide tools to secure that, uh, people have a backup plan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very, very, very good. Very good. Just to finish, because we have right now, we always suggest, because at the end we try to provide pragmatic and tips, ideas for the audience. So you have to summarize the three most important things regarding this evolution of artificial intelligence, or how the teams can use it. What are your three recommendations, or the three key
yeah.
points you would recommend to the audience for
Three
tomorrow in
things.
the yeah, two,
Yeah,
three, four, but
I would say, yeah, it doesn't
the
matter. I
short
would
list, the
say,
short list.
yeah, I would say a few things. For software companies, please guys use the OWASP SAM model. When you know where you are in terms of your maturity level, you will know what the risk is of your product being hijacked, being spoofed, tampered with, or whatever. And all of these companies, they also like they have to process and store personal data, which is part of the schema. And something else for the people who build and maintain AI models, I would say it's good to keep as well an eye on the OWASP top 10 for LLMs, and maybe check it extensively. And the third thing is, last but not least, it's just very important for major software companies to include threat modeling workshops into their activities and secure code trainings, because without that, they're just pouring money into penetration testing at the end, which could not be mostly efficient, because threat modeling is pinpointing the threats on the architecture level. So if you reduce the possible vulnerabilities in the architecture level, then it would be way easier to put this product into general availability. So that's mostly from my end. And just something additional, again, something that's maybe last but not least, it's good for teams to implement SAST, DAST, SCA. It's very important. It's very important because we cannot only rely on humans for the threat modeling workshops. This is very good, but it's good also to implement some automation, to implement some tooling and procedures which will ensure that you're secured from end-to-end solution. That's maybe an end-to-end solution, both tools, human, and now we have AI with on the same line.
Very good, very good, very good. I subscribe all of your recommendation. Now, from my side, very few to add is that if you want to start doing something or applying these things beyond applying this SAM model that I recommend also, and just to measure maturity and all these things, as always, start applying to some specific projects, integrate artificial intelligence in some pipelines, in some workflows, in some things, and start measuring the improvement and if everything is working. If you are reducing the time to remediation and the time to detection that Atanas mentioned before, if you are improving the false positive rates, ensure that you have always a human, a developer, security engineer, something, supervising the decision and taking the decision. And once you have everything validated in a control scenario, you can expand to other areas, because at the end you need to adapt everything to your specific organization, the behavior of your teams, and all these things. So this is my point. So I think we are a bit out of the time. Just one question, Atanas, is regarding, for example, how can teams distinguish real AI value from marketing hype in security tools? Okay, so how do you think that you can confirm or to validate? At the end, we have the cure, the Gartner cure with the one are the expectations, another is what we have in the real project.
Yeah. Unfortunately, AI is really like currently it's the buzzword. Like there was even a joke with this a guy, the Wolf of Wall Street. You remember this movie with the pen that he was trying to send the pen, and if he says this is a pen, it's AI powered, and everybody will want to buy, right? But the thing is like. Just try, guys. Just test. See the demo. If somebody is offering you something, just go on a meeting with them. Check the demo. Check the platform or the tool or whatever they're selling, and just try it by yourself. And if it's working for you, then the hype, it wouldn't matter. I think the only real way to make the difference between hype and real product is just test out. Take the demo, go for the trial. If there is a trial version, like try for 7 days, for 30 days, whatever they give you. See for yourself. If you like it, if you think it's doing the work, then buy the product. If you don't like it, then go for something else. I think this is the right approach in life in general. It's not only for AI. So that's why what I would recommend, to the ones who want to integrate such AppSec platforms into the lifecycle.
Yeah, at the end is touch it, test it in your real environment, because at the end is demos and everything is okay. It's a first approach to validate, but then everyone has their own scenarios, their own integrations, their own things. So do a proof of concept or anything just to validate that it works in your specific environment. Is valid for your specific needs and for your specific context. So to validate is validate integration capabilities, validate flexibility, validate privacy, and measure KPIs, just to validate that it's providing value. The value is reduction of false positive, reduction of the time to remediate, reduction of time to detect. It's a few weeks of testing just to validate, because it depends.
Yeah, proof of concept is the king. Proof of concept.
Exactly.
So POC, guys, just POC, and that's it. Thanks for this. Thanks for this good discussion. Yeah, I'm glad that you approached and we managed to make this happen. So I would
thank you very much, Atanas. Yes, for the rest of the people, we are going to close. I think this discussion, as you mentioned, has brings a very good overview about how artificial intelligence is redrawing the map of the application security. That I took note of this relevance for the next decade. Very interesting. So we have seen today is not something about tools, or it's more about transformation, okay? How we have to transform the way we do and we use the technology, and we adapt our processes to be more prepared to avoid that the attackers that are now using different algorithms, different technologies, new capabilities could affect our applications, okay? At the end, as defenders, we have to adapt very fast. Our teams that are using triage remediation should see improvement in the time of remediation, the speed, and the agility in the detection of new vulnerabilities. And at the end, I think the key takeaway today is that artificial intelligence is not replacing the professionals, the people in the team. It's support and a new tool, a new capability for the decision making of the team at the end. So at the end, we have to balance the governance, visibility, explainability, as we mentioned in the regulation part, with the prediction capability, with the human oversight, and at the end, everything is going to be. The idea is that automation without accountability is not going to scale the security. Okay, so we have to put everything together. Thank you very much again, Atanas, for joining me and the audience today, and for sharing your experience, your view, and all this knowledge that you have. So in the artificial intelligence defense strategies and attacks.
Thanks for hosting this workshop as well. Yeah, and I hope see each other soon again.
So for the rest of you, start integrating artificial intelligence in the pipelines, start using and exploring these new possibilities. This was our SafeDev today. Thank you for being here with us. Stay curious, stay critical, and we'll see you in the next episode of the SafeDev Talk. Okay? Thank you. Bye.